right. Well, it's Friday. We've got our test today, but before we get to our test, let's just kind of sum up and kind of close this module that we've been working on since before Christmas, Module 4. And we always do the synthesize and connecting activities to close a module. I just like talking through these together with you. Synthesize is how our thinking changes and how we form new ideas. And so let's just be reminded of what this module was all about. We've looked at this module about heroes. And so we began with a text called Everyday Heroes. Who is a hero? We talked about different people who are heroes in that text. There were medical workers and firefighters and policemen and things like that, people like that who do an important job to help others every day of their life. We were encouraged to find a way that we could help others in that story. We began with that. We moved on to Prince Charming misplaces his bride. And then we read Smoke Jumpers to the Rescue and Perseus and the Fall of Medusa. And of course, this week we've been reading the Battle of the Alamo. So let's synthesize our thoughts. And I'm just going to talk out loud. You can be thinking, sharing your just thinking out loud too. And so what did I know? Well, I knew that I really liked this topic of heroes. I was excited. At first I was thinking I'm excited because I can't wait to see what kind of heroes we're going to read about. And I really liked when we got into it, I was thinking we were going to be reading about some more fictional heroes, maybe superheroes, things like that is what I was thinking. And I was excited to read some stories, fictional stories about heroes and just some great stories. I was excited. As I was reading what I'm learning, I was thinking, I didn't really like the fictional stories in this module so much. And that's okay. You're not going to like every story we read, and I don't like every story we read. I didn't really care for the story Perseus and the Fall of Medusa. You might have liked it. I didn't really care for that story. That's not the kind of story I enjoy reading. And really, although Prince Charming Misplaces Bride was kind of funny, it was better than Perseus. It really wasn't my favorite story either. Well, by the end, what I understood about these stories we read about heroes was this. What I understood was that I like the nonfiction stories better. I like the real stories in this module much better. I loved reading about smoke jumpers to the rescue and finding out about how brave they have to be to jump into a wildfire and carrying 120-pound backpacks on their back with all their supplies. It's just amazing the things they did. They're real heroes to me, better than some pretend guy who fights Medusa, right? And I love the story this week about the Battle of the Alamo because those are real heroes fighting for people's freedom and the independence of Texas. So my thoughts changed from I'm excited about the fictional stories to I really didn't like the fictional stories. I liked the nonfictional, the nonfiction informative text in this module much better. That's how my thinking changed. How about yours? Which ones did you like better? You might have liked the fiction ones better, and that's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. And let's just close the module with this too. I went to the wrong place. This is where I wanted to go. To make connections. Let's make connections with the text. We always connect some text to ourselves, some text to another text, and some text to the world. So from these stories that we read, I don't really consider myself a hero, but so it's hard to connect stories about heroes to ourselves. But I think the one that I could connect to myself is the Battle of the Alamo, not because I've ever fought in a war, but because it reminds me of social studies, how much I love teaching social studies. And so I really enjoyed reading that story because I've always taught social studies from a social studies book, and I've never read a story like that one about the Alamo, how that was written. And so it was really interesting to me how it connects to my life. Yeah, not so much other than I teach about the Alamo. I teach about the Alamo in social studies too. Did one of the texts connect to you in your life somehow? Did you do something really brave one time that the smoke jumpers reminded you of? You might have. How about text to text? Did any of the text remind you of something else we've read and there's another book that was kind of like it? Well, I've already mentioned the social studies textbook, right? That nonfiction text, how the Battle of the Alamo was like that. Um, Prince Charming misplaces his bride. There's several different versions of the story Cinderella, and there was one in the old reading book a long time ago called Cendrillon, and it was like a French retelling of Cinderella. So Prince Charming misplaces his bride reminded me of another telling of Cinderella that I have read before. And text to the real world, well, that's easy. The smoke jumpers, there's probably smoke jumpers somewhere today jumping into a fire somewhere. So, and fighting wildfires, there's always wildfires out west, it seems like in the western states, and sometimes here. And so that's definitely real world right there. Well, we finished this module, so we'll be moving on to module 5 now. To finish it up today, I need you to take your spelling test and your reading test today. So get those things done for me, and then you can have a nice weekend. All right, we'll see you on Monday.